Lead 450 laps, but have 2 overtime restarts and lose, and I guarantee the percentage is flip-flopped. That is our fan base. These are the words from Kyle Larson today about the good race poll that Jeff Gluck puts on, which, as fun as it is, so many people put so much stock into that even Jeff, I think, is probably bamboozled by them. But that got 27.2% yes. It was a good race. And I think that this has really sparked a conversation about this race even more than what we had on Saturday night. I think with Sunday off, everybody was watching football. Well, at least most people were. And the drivers and everybody in the NASCAR side of things were enjoying having a rare Sunday off. Now, we're back to the grindstone, baby. And that means we get to all complain about Bristol. Hell yeah. All right, but all jokes aside, I think we do need to have a bit more of a discussion 36 or so hours later and kind of dive into both the racing itself and what we all think of it, as well as Kyle Larson's comments on it and how I think that there's some right and wrong to be taken from both. Broadly speaking, and looking at NASCAR fans, Kyle Larson is broadly right. Maybe not about Bristol in the micro, but in the macro, I think he is correct. NASCAR fans nowadays are incredibly entertainment driven. You see this based on what rules they like. You see this based on the trends of fans' interests on different things in races, whether it be going from multiple green-white checkers to unlimited overtimes, whether it be playoffs, stage racing, you name it. There is a really big bend towards that entertainment side of things. And you know what? If that's the direction they're going and NASCAR wants to go that way, if they're all in sync, let them go that way, whatever's better for the sport. But I think what you also see is that a lot of times some good races that just get dominated by somebody. Nowadays, a Kyle Larson, or at different points, maybe a Denny Hamlin, a Kyle Busch, a Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, you name it, all the way back. Domination is something that in the moment people hate. You see it in football with the Chiefs. You've seen it with the Yankees over time, where people absolutely hate these franchises or people for dominating their sport. But ultimately, when there is time to heal that fresh wound of not liking a race, people end up more accepting of it and even appreciating of it. And I think that that is something that you just have to live with. Social media is a snapshot into the snap opinion. And with it, you're going to have people who, for the most part, are not happy with not having a close finish. It's really fun. But in this case, I think Kyle Larson is wrong about the Bristol side of things. Racing with this weekend in general with the Cup Series was abysmal. Unless you had the best car like he did, or you burned off your tires and fell back like some, say like Ty Gibbs did, you were not really able to pass all that easily. And this wasn't just a Cup problem, this was an issue in all 3 series, especially Xfinity as well. Difference with those is that's an anomaly for Bristol. And with that too, I can say that I don't need a giant wreck. I just need people to have the ability of mobility. It was disappointing too. You got to remember what this race followed up when it came to Bristol in general. And that was the spring race, which had all the tire issues that didn't go too far and had drivers actually having to save their stuff and be really good drivers in doing so. And it was really entertaining. People loved it. You had good racing towards the finish. It wasn't really much wreck 'em, stack 'em up, and wreck 'em again, like a lot of people like to say fans like. It was in general what people, I think, wanted. Maybe a little overboard, but still what people wanted in Bristol. And the thing is, short tracks have been largely dookie since the next-gen car was released. The next-gen car is amazing in some ways. And I think that one of the big issues is you're having such a pendulum swing now when it comes to good and bad races with this car that I don't blame fans for overreacting at times. I mean, look at it like this. You have amazing races like Atlanta in the spring, Kansas, that have these awesome finishes, great racing throughout, and people rightfully love that. And they're going to have a really good response to it. But when you turn around and you have races where nobody can pass or very little passing can happen and little mobility at that, well, then you're going to have people upset. Just look at this Bristol race, but also look at Martinsville in the spring, where until we had an overtime finish, we didn't have any passing possible with lead lap or just anyone on the same lap for position in the last 40 or so laps. And I know this because I kept track of it through the NASCAR app with the running order. So this is something short track wise. It's not only this year, it's been the same way since 2022. And people just have to accept that it is an issue. It's not an issue that we have on the regular in the Xfinity or Truck Series. It is a Cup Next Gen issue. And I think that Bristol, being such a beloved track, only makes that bigger. And, I really think that it's funny, at least partly to me, that you have so many gaslighting to try and get their point across. You have people legit in my comment sections saying that I'm just a Larson hater for not liking this race, and people don't like it because they hate Kyle Larson. Well, that might be so. Listen, welcome to the real world. Every successful person has people that hate on them. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how beloved you are. Somebody's going to dislike it. Look at Dale Earnhardt Jr., one of the most beloved people in all of sports. And he had people hating on him mercilessly through his career at times. I mean, literally on the NASCAR.com comment sections, yes, I'm that old that I remember that, people were calling him Dale Mears after Casey Mears because of how bad he was doing at the time. It's something that anyone who's successful has, and people should, I think, honestly take it as a badge of honor. On top of that, though, no, Kyle Larson isn't hated. He might be hated by some, but in general, he is not hated. Domination is hated. You had so many people hated over time for domination. You see it in every sport. This is not something that is Kyle Larson-centric. It is domination-centric. People need to get that through their thick skulls. And in my opinion, Larson's domination wasn't the issue. In fact, I think it was damn impressive what he did. And I said so Saturday night right after the race. You can look it up on my post-race stream. I said it within the first 10 minutes of the stream that I don't think, one, this was an issue, and two, I think it was impressive and should be appreciated. And I will continue to appreciate how damn good that was because he won by half a freaking lap. And on top of that, he probably could have lapped the field if it wasn't for stage yellows. And many people saying this was the same or better than old Bristol. No, it isn't. Next-gen Bristol racing and short track racing in general ain't all that good. I'm just going to continue to be on that hill. I'll die on this hill. And this is not me being a boomer, being like, we need to change the track back. As much as I would love that and I prefer that, I think that current Bristol can put on some pretty damn good racing. The Gen 6 car, the aero-dependent lipstick on a pig car that was still really damn good at Bristol. Look at the 2019 night race. Look at the 2020 spring, summer, whatever you want to call it, COVID race. Both those races, really damn good. And we saw plenty of great Bristol races throughout the Gen 6 and I would say even the late COT era. I do not think this is a track problem. It's not to say that New Bristol, again, can't be good, but even Xfinity this weekend wasn't good. The difference is that was an anomaly. And maybe you do need to mess with the track. Maybe you need to put sticky stuff on it. Bristol's one of the few tracks I'm actually kind of okay with that happening on. But Bristol cannot be a bore. And what that was, at least looking at the poll, to 73% of fans, was a complete bore. Sorry, this stuff just kind of gets under my skin sometimes, where it's like, we can have bad races and accept that they're bad. We don't have to say that we're hating on somebody, or we don't have to gaslight ourselves into thinking that the bad thing we saw was good. Things can be bad. We can improve on them. It's not the end of the world. This week at Kansas will probably be really badass, and we'll all forget about this in a week's time. So with that, I want to know what you think. Did you like the race? And if so, why? If you didn't, tell me what you think can be improved. All right, leave a like in this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. And until next time, have a good one.